never thought one plate of jollof rice could cause so much drama. But there I was, stuck between my two best friends, Tunde and Kwame, both of them glaring at each other over a pot of rice. "It tastes like firewood," Kwame yelled. "At least it's not bland like yours," Tunde shot back. And that's how the great Jollof war of our friendship began. Tunde, my Niger friend, and Kwame, my Ghanaian friend, had been friends for years until that one fateful Sunday. I had invited both of them to a small party at my place, and jollof rice was the main dish. I never imagined the chaos it would cause. It all started when Tunde brought up the idea of a potluck. "Everyone should bring their own jollof," he said. I thought it was a great idea. I didn't know I had just lit the match that would set this rivalry on fire. Tunde spent hours in the kitchen. He was serious about his Niger jollof. I could hear him shouting from the kitchen, "This is the real jollof. Ghana people don't know what's up." Meanwhile, Kwame was on the phone, giving instructions to his sister. He had ordered his jollof straight from Ghana. "I don't need to make it. My sister's jollof is legendary," he said proudly. Kwame arrived first, carrying a pot of steaming red jollof. He set it down on the table like it was a trophy. "This is the real deal," he announced. Not long after, Tunde arrived with his own pot. His jollof smelled delicious, with the spices hitting the air like a punch. He put his pot next to Kwame's and gave him a smug look. Before we even took a bite, the two of them started arguing about the smell. "My jollof smells smoky, like it was cooked on firewood," Kwame bragged. Tunde laughed. "That's not smoky, bro. That's burnt." I was the judge, apparently. They both handed me a plate of their jollof. First, I tasted Kwame's. It was spicy and rich. Then I tasted Tunde's, also spicy, but with a different kick. I knew right away this wasn't going to end well. "Both of them are good," I said, trying to be diplomatic. But that didn't sit well with either of them. "Good? Mine is better," Tunde shouted. "No way, Niger people always exaggerate," Kwame countered. Before I knew it, other friends at the party had gathered around. Everyone wanted to weigh in on this jollof debate. It was becoming a serious matter. "9J Jollof is world famous," someone yelled from the back. Kwame suggested we do a vote. Let's see whose jollof really reigns supreme. We wrote down votes and it was close. Too close. The vote came out as a tie. That only made things worse. Both of them were convinced the other had rigged the vote. I stayed silent, knowing full well that drama was about to unfold. Kwame started explaining that Nigerians' taste buds were too used to strong spices, while Tunde clapped back, saying Ghanaians couldn't handle real flavor. It was getting heated. Tunde revealed he had used a secret ingredient, goat meat stock. "That's why my jollof has depth." Kwame wasn't impressed. "That's cheating. Jollof is about the rice, not the meat." Suddenly, the room was divided. Nigerian friends stood behind Tunde, while the Ghanaians backed Kwame. The neutral ones, like me, just stood there, afraid to take sides. Kwame posted a picture of his jollof on Instagram with the caption, "Real jollof, no gimmicks." Tunde immediately responded with his own post, "Naija jollof, always superior." By the next day, memes were flying everywhere. Someone even created a Jollof Wars meme with Tunde and Kwame's faces on the bodies of two wrestling champions. It wasn't long before both their families got involved. Tunde's mom called him from Lagos. "Don't let that Ghana boy insult our jollof." Oh. Meanwhile, Kwame's cousin in Accra sent him recipes to improve his next spot. Things escalated when Kwame proposed a blind taste test. He was convinced that without knowing who made it, people would prefer Ghanaian jollof. Tunde accepted the challenge. We invited 5 neutral people to be judges. No one knew which jollof came from whom. The tension in the room was thick as the judges took their first bites. The first judge frowned after tasting Kwame's. "A bit too sweet," he said. The second judge loved Tunde's, but said it was too spicy. The third judge said both were too different to compare. After much deliberation, The judges couldn't pick a winner. It's a tie again, one of them said. That didn't go down well. Both Tunde and Kwame were fuming. Kwame stormed out, saying, "This is pointless. Nigerians will never admit when they're wrong." Tunde didn't miss a beat and shouted back, "Same goes for Ghanaians." For the next week, neither of them spoke to each other. Our group chats were dry and the party vibe was completely dead. I had to step in. I invited both of them over, but this time there was no jollof. "Guys, it's just rice," I said, hoping that would help. Spoiler, it didn't. It took another week, but finally, Tunde sent a message to the group chat. "Maybe your jollof isn't that bad after all, Kwame." Kwame responded, "Yours isn't terrible either." We had another party, but this time, no one was allowed to bring jollof. They both came, and though there were still small jabs here and there, it was all in good fun. The whole experience taught me one thing: never mess with West African jollof. It's more than rice, it's pride, culture, and a little bit of war. Months later, I made the mistake of bringing up the jollof debates again. They both just looked at me and said in unison, "Never again."